A dragon on the flag, a village beneath a reservoir, and a Welsh community on the other side of the world. Wales may be small, but its history is anything but ordinary. Here are 15 fascinating facts about this remarkable country. The Red Dragon of Wales. The Welsh flag is one of the most striking national flags in Europe, featuring a powerful red dragon known as Y Draig Goch. The symbol has been connected with Wales for centuries and appears in medieval stories, royal banners, and ancient legends. One famous tale describes a red dragon fighting a white dragon beneath the ground. The red dragon eventually wins, symbolizing the native Britons defeating invading forces. The legend was later associated with the Welsh people and their long struggle to preserve their land, language, and identity. Welsh rulers, including Owain Glyndwr, used dragon imagery as a symbol of authority and resistance. The modern flag, with its red dragon above green and white fields, became official in 1959. Today, the dragon appears at sporting events, on public buildings, and throughout Welsh culture, representing courage, pride, and national strength. The land of castles. Wales is often called the castle capital of the world because hundreds of castles, fortified houses, ruins, and defensive sites are scattered across its relatively small territory. Some were built by native Welsh princes, while many others were constructed by Norman and English rulers attempting to control the country. The most famous include Caernarfon, Conwy, Harlech, and Beaumaris, which form a UNESCO World Heritage Site in North Wales. These enormous stone fortresses were designed not only for defence, but also to display royal authority. Caerphilly Castle is especially impressive, with vast walls, artificial lakes, and a leaning tower. Many Welsh castles stand on cliffs, hills, or coastlines, creating dramatic views that are perfect for visitors and filmmakers. Together they reveal centuries of warfare, rebellion, conquest, and the determination of the Welsh people to protect their independence. One of Europe's oldest living languages. Welsh, known locally as Cymraeg, is one of the oldest living languages in Europe and remains a central part of Welsh identity. It developed from the ancient Brythonic language once spoken across much of Britain before the spread of English. For centuries, Welsh survived political pressure, social change, and periods when its use was discouraged in schools and public life. Today, it has official status alongside English and can be seen on road signs, government documents, railway stations, and public buildings throughout Wales. It is also taught in schools and used in television, radio, music, literature, and everyday conversation. Welsh pronunciation can seem difficult to outsiders, but the spelling system is highly consistent once its rules are understood. The language is more than a historical relic. It remains a living symbol of cultural pride, continuity, and national survival. The village with the impossible name. On the island of Anglesey stands a Welsh village famous for having one of the longest place names in Europe, Llan Virapul Gwyn Gilgo, Gairo Quirandro Bul Llan, Tosilio Gogo Goch. The name describes a location connected with St Mary's Church, a white hazel tree, a rapid whirlpool, and the Church of St Tosilio near a red cave. Although parts of the name are rooted in genuine local geography, the full extended version was reportedly created during the 19th century to attract attention and encourage railway travellers to stop. The plan worked remarkably well. Today, visitors photograph the railway station sign, attempt the pronunciation, and buy souvenirs featuring the name. Local speakers usually shorten it to Llan Fair Pwool, proving that even the Welsh know when enough consonants are enough. A path around an entire country. Wales became the first country in the world to create a continuous walking route around its entire coastline. The Wales Coast Path officially opened in 2012 and stretches for roughly 870 miles, or about 1,400 kilometres. It passes dramatic cliffs, sandy beaches, fishing villages, castles, industrial harbours, and wildlife-rich islands. walkers can follow sections through Pembrokeshire, the Gower Peninsula, Cardigan Bay, Anglesey, and the North Coast, experiencing landscapes that change constantly. The route also connects with Offa's Dyke Path near the English border, allowing determined travellers to complete a full circuit of Wales. It is not merely a hiking trail, but a national showcase of Welsh history, communities, geology, and coastal culture. Few national routes combine such variety within such a compact country. The horse skull at the door. Mari Lwyd is one of Wales's strangest and most memorable winter traditions. A real horse skull is mounted on a pole, decorated with ribbons, bells, and a white cloth, then carried from house to house by a small group of performers. The name is often translated as Grey Mare, although its exact origins remain debated. At each doorway, the visitors sing or improvise verses, while the people inside reply with their own rhyming challenge. This playful contest, known as Ponco, continues until the household finally admits the group. Once inside, everyone may share food, drink, music, and celebration. The custom was especially common in South Wales and nearly disappeared during the 20th century, but local communities later revived it. Today, Mari Lwyd is seen as a powerful mixture of folklore, humour, performance, and Welsh cultural identity. A canal in the sky. The Pont Cysylltu Aqueduct is one of the most remarkable engineering achievements in Wales, carrying the Llangollen Canal high above the River Dee. Completed in the early 19th century, it was designed by Thomas Telford and William Jessop during the height of the Industrial Revolution. The aqueduct rests on 19 stone pillars and supports a narrow cast-iron channel filled with water. Canal boats appear to float through the air as they cross the valley, while one side has only a low metal edge separating passengers from the drop below. The structure was built to move goods efficiently through difficult terrain without forcing boats to descend into the valley. More than 2 centuries later, it remains in use and forms part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its elegant design proves that industrial engineering could be practical, durable, and unexpectedly beautiful. The slate that roofed the world. During the 19th century, the mountains of North Wales became the centre of a global slate industry. Vast quarries at places such as Penrhyn, Dinorwig, and Blaenau Festiniog supplied strong, thin roofing stone to cities across Britain and far beyond. Welsh slate covered homes, churches, factories, railway stations, and public buildings because it was durable, waterproof, and easy to split into flat sheets. The industry transformed entire valleys, creating railways, ports, workers' villages, and dangerous jobs that demanded great skill. Quarrymen often worked high on exposed rock faces using hand tools and explosives, while slate was carried by narrow-gauge railways to the coast for export. Although production later declined, the landscape still bears enormous terraces and caverns. Today, the Slate region is protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The journey that started the railway age. In 1804, South Wales became the setting for a major experiment in transport history. Engineer Richard Trevithick built a steam locomotive that hauled iron and passengers along a tramway from Penydarren, near Merthyr Tydfil. The machine pulled several wagons for about 9 miles, proving that steam power could move heavy loads on rails. The journey was far from perfect. The locomotive was extremely heavy, damaged parts of the track, and was not adopted for regular service. Even so, the demonstration showed that railways could be powered by engines rather than horses. This breakthrough inspired later engineers who improved locomotive design and created practical railway systems. The Penydarren journey is remembered as the first authenticated steam locomotive trip on rails, giving Wales a major place in the history of global transport. The man who invented the equals sign. The equals sign is one of the simplest and most important symbols in mathematics, yet few people know that it was created by a Welsh scholar. Robert Recorde, born in Tenby, introduced the symbol in a mathematics book published in 1557. Before his invention, writers usually explained equality with words, which made equations longer and less convenient to read. Recorde chose two parallel horizontal lines because he believed nothing could be more equal than two lines of exactly the same length. His original symbol was much longer than the one used today, but it gradually became shorter and more familiar as mathematicians adopted it. Recorde was also a physician, teacher, and author who helped make mathematics easier to understand in English. His small invention changed the way calculations were written and remains part of daily life in schools, science, engineering, finance, and technology. The Welsh pioneer of mail-order shopping. Long before online shopping and home delivery became part of everyday life, a Welsh businessman named Pryce Jones was sending goods to customers who never entered his shop. Working from Newtown during the 19th century, he used printed catalogues and the expanding railway network to sell clothing, blankets, and household textiles across Britain and overseas. Customers selected items from the catalogue, ordered by post, and received their purchases by rail. This allowed people in remote towns and rural areas to buy products unavailable locally. Pryce Jones became especially successful with his Euclisia rug, a durable woolen garment used by travellers and soldiers. His customers reportedly included members of European royal families. Although he did not invent every part of distance selling, he helped turn it into an organised business model that anticipated modern mail-order companies and online retail. Britain's smallest city. St David's in Pembrokeshire is officially recognised as the smallest city in the United Kingdom by population. With fewer than 2,000 residents, it feels more like a peaceful coastal village than a traditional city. Its status comes from the magnificent St David's Cathedral, built on the site of a religious community founded by St David, the patron saint of Wales. During the Middle Ages, the settlement became an important pilgrimage destination, and travelling there was considered a deeply meaningful religious journey. The cathedral stands in a sheltered valley, partly hidden from view until visitors approach it, while the ruins of the medieval Bishop's Palace rise nearby. Today, St David's attracts hikers, history enthusiasts, and travellers exploring the Pembrokeshire coast. Its narrow streets, independent shops, ancient religious buildings, and dramatic surroundings make it one of Britain's most unusual cities. The anthem that changed sport. Wales helped create one of the most familiar traditions in international sport, singing national anthems before a match. In 1905, the Welsh rugby team faced New Zealand in Cardiff during the visitors' famous tour of Britain. Before kick-off, the New Zealand players performed the haka, their traditional Maori challenge. In response, the Welsh crowd began singing Hen Vlad Fi Nadau, meaning land of my fathers. Thousands of voices joined together, creating an emotional moment that deeply impressed players and spectators. The event is often credited with establishing the custom of singing national anthems before international sporting contests. Since then, the Welsh anthem has become a powerful symbol of unity, especially at rugby and football matches. Even people who rarely speak Welsh often sing it proudly, proving how music can express national identity more strongly than any speech. The village drowned for water. In the early 1960s, the Welsh village of Capel Celyn became the centre of one of the most controversial decisions in modern Welsh history. Liverpool City Council wanted to create a reservoir in the Tryweryn Valley to supply water to the English city. Despite strong opposition from local residents and almost every Welsh Member of Parliament, the project was approved by the British Parliament. Families were forced to leave, farms disappeared, and the village school, chapel, homes, and cemetery were eventually submerged beneath the new reservoir. The flooding was completed in 1965 and became a lasting symbol of how Welsh communities felt, ignored by distant political power. The words Cofiwch Dryweryn, meaning remember Tryweryn, later appeared on a famous roadside wall and remain a powerful message of cultural memory, resistance, and Welsh national identity. A Welsh community in Patagonia. In the 19th century, a group of Welsh settlers crossed the Atlantic to create a new community in Patagonia, hoping to preserve their language, religion, and cultural identity, far from English influence. They arrived in what is now Argentina in 1865 and faced a harsh, unfamiliar landscape with little fresh water and few resources. Survival depended on cooperation with indigenous Tehuelche communities, who helped the settlers adapt to local conditions. Over time, Welsh towns, chapels, schools, farms, and newspapers appeared across the region. Places such as Trelew, Gaiman, and Trefalun still preserve parts of this heritage today. Visitors can find Welsh tea houses, traditional cakes, bilingual signs, and families who continue to speak Welsh. The community has changed greatly, but it remains one of the most remarkable examples of Welsh culture surviving thousands of miles from Wales. Wales may be a small country, but its influence, history, and identity reach far beyond its borders. From ancient castles and the Welsh language to railway history and a distant community in Patagonia, every fact reveals another layer of this remarkable nation. Which of these 15 facts surprised you the most? Share your answer in the comments and subscribe to Andy Explores the World for more fascinating stories from countries around the globe.